Hello there, Bissell fans, and you know who you are. So here is a practically brand new Bissell CleanView lent by one Thomas Rechtenwald of the YouTube channel of the same name for extensive testing here at the lab. Now, I've got two scales sitting here, and I think we can take lots of different measurements with this thing when we perform a whole house carpet cleaning. Not only can we do, say, just measure the entire bin and then measure the extracted dirt, but what about actually measuring the filters? Say, filter that's up here in there and the filter that's down there. All right, well, let's get to it, see what they weigh. This is my scale that can measure up to several kilograms and several pounds, but it only measures down to 0.1 grams. This one is much finer, but it can only measure up to, say, 500 grams, for example, but it can go all the way down to 0.01. So the light stuff, we can get some pretty accurate readings, but the big bin, that is going to have to be on the big scale. So here is the, you know what, this is so light, I don't need anything to prop it up or make it so you can see it easily. It's easy to measure. Okay, we're going to start out with 4.41 grams. That was easy. Nice to have something easy for once. And then we're going to measure. I'm going to actually put that back in for the total measurement that we will eventually get. And here is the HEPA filter. So this has a nice flat side, I guess you could say, on the bottom, so that's the easiest way to measure that. Okay, get on there. Okay, we're starting out with 178.45 grams. Yep, that's good. Now, got to measure the entire bin, and it would be nice if I could get it the right way. Okay, I think I'm going to have to lift this up, because that bin will sit in such a way that you can't see it otherwise. All right, we have a 0, and I think I can turn it sideways, and it won't rock back and forth a whole lot. Let's see what we have. Oh, good, you can see that. So 1190, stop wiggling. 1190.5. Let me just change the direction, which I know is going to block that from you. We still have 190.5. I know you can't see that, but, and that's going to kind of block the view as well. Okay, so we have a consistency of measurement. Yep, 1190.5. Great. So let's go ahead and do the whole house carpet cleaning. I don't think it's necessarily going to get under a whole lot. It'll get under some. So we'll have to see whether or not I'm going to classify this as 1,000 square feet or 1,100 square feet. But we'll find out soon. So here we go with a whole house carpet cleaning with this Bissell CleanView. And it seems to be kind of a nice day out, so I'm going to try this with natural lighting and not haul around my 3 extra studio lights that take forever to go and set up for, you know, like a 30-second shot. So let's see how well this works out. I got a little cord keeper up here. Oh, fantastic. Set on medium pile carpet. bed about that far. Now I can push that, but that's really the limit. So that's really about all I can do. You know, it's fairly quiet. It's not screechy. So many bagless systems just really have a high-pitched kind of a screech or a squeal. This does not have that. Goes under some low furniture a little bit. Get some long strokes going here. Well, I don't think the carpet lines are too bad. So there you go. There's a reverse angle shot there. There you can see them a little bit better. All right. Let's keep going. Time to take a look at the carpet lines. A little closer view. Okie dokie, let's keep going. As far as it goes. take a quick peek. Finished the second floor, getting ready to do the first floor, and there's a nice little blob there. It looks like an awful lot of fibrous material, though. We'll have to find out a little more about it when we start measuring everything. Time to go into the living room. Okay, last two rooms. chair dents. Yeah, it's tackling them a little bit. Yeah, there's a difference. Okay, here ends the whole house carpet cleaning with Thomas Rechtenwald's nearly new Bissell CleanView. So now let's go and examine the dirt recovery. Before we go and measure everything, let's take a look at this brush roll. I noticed something was kind of interesting. So when you look at the bristles, I think you can kind of see that, even though I'm a little bit far away. They're not even in length, both the white ones and the red ones. These are medium stiff. Overall, I would say medium length, and of course it's helix. But you know what's happening here? You have, this is a little bit longer, that's a little bit shorter, a little bit longer, a little bit shorter. It literally is alternating length. So I hope you can see that. Short, long, short, long, short, long. That's, I think this is the first one I've ever seen. I've never seen that before. It's very unusual. Let's also notice the hair wrap. So this is one vacuuming session, and so this is all my wife's hair. This is not too bad. I've seen worse. Obviously, you're going to have to clean this out periodically. If you leave it there, it's going to build up and make the brush roll ineffective. But for one session, that's really about average. So before I dump the bin, I just wanted to show you this huge blob. It does a great job of kind of collecting on one side, and obviously there's little dog hairs that are just all over the place. A lot of fibrous pickup. Okay, I guess we can measure the entire bin first. You know, I was just thinking off camera here for a minute. Did you notice that this power nozzle, the whole front assembly here, is much shorter than I'm looking at my Helix and Turbo, and their front part of the nozzle assemblies is much higher. So this actually goes under quite a bit more than either the Helix or the Turbo. I don't really feel comfortable rating this as 1,000 square feet. I really think I'm going to have to consider it being more like 1,100. Obviously, it doesn't go under everything, but it goes under a lot more than the older Bissells did. So let's see. We started out with 1190.5 total grams, and we end up with, looks like there's some pretty good pickup. 1199. Good. I'm glad you can see that. I don't have to keep moving the camera. 1199.8. Now I'm going to subtract that from 1190.5. Now this is a raw bin pickup. Okay, so we have to do an extracted, but that's pretty good. That might be the best raw Bissell pickup that I have. I have to go back and look in my notes, but to me that seems like that's actually pretty good. Okay, but that's a raw pickup, 9.3 grams. So how about we take a look at what happened with that little yellow filter. You know, there's a little dust mark in it. You know, it's kind of this round. Yeah, look at that. You can see where dust has entered the filter and stayed in there. Not a lot, but enough to make a pattern. All right, let's see what this does. Yeah, just a little bit. So let's see, 4.47 minus 4.41. So that filter has 0.06 grams stuck in it. So, you know, 1 or 2 vacuum sessions, that's not really going to do that much, especially since I don't have a whole lot of fine dust. But can you imagine if you had a lot of fine dust? I'm going to guess it's going to build up in here fairly quickly, and you might have to either vacuum that off with another machine, or of course, since it's really like a sponge, put it in the sink and you know, squish some water through it and then let it dry on a very regular basis. So that's what's being held in that sponge. How about that? Alrighty. How about the post-motor filter? I guess it doesn't really say HEPA. Looks like HEPA. All right, let's see what happened there. See if anything went through. Oh, I can't do that. I can do this though. Make sure that's centered as well as it can be. Okay, we started out with 178.45, and I'm not getting results that make a whole lot of sense, other than maybe something has blown out of this. It's possible. I didn't clean this per se, but with air blowing through it and hot air blowing through it, it looks like it's lost weight. It has. It has actually lost a little bit of weight. A little bit of fine dust that was probably clogged in it has blown out from it. That's interesting. Okay, we started at 178.45, And I'm now going to subtract 178.0, I'll say 0.08. So this post motor filter has lost 0.37 grams. And I imagine that's because there was probably something in here and it blew out. Because there's really no other way this thing can move one way or another. Somehow there was a tiny fraction of a gram that managed to free itself, I suppose. Okay, now let's take a look at the dirt itself before we measure it. Put the sponge back in here. Good place to hold it. You know, got a little bit of fine dust. Awful fibrous though. Lots and lots of fiber. Tons and tons of fiber. That is just, it's a giant blob of fiber. Well, let me collect that a little bit better here. So let's see what we have for an extracted amount. I think I can bring this a little closer to the camera. Okay, so let's put in the fiber first. I mean, you know, there's always a little bit of fine dust that's contained in there. You can't do a perfect job of separating it. That, honestly, that is a giant ball of fiber. So we got hair, dog hair, human hair. There's definitely some carpet fluff in there to be sure. That is a giant ball. And that really confirms that's a giant ball. For a bagless system, that's a lot of fibrous pickup, to be sure. I'm going to do my best to try to separate this as much as possible. That's kind of tough. You know, there's a lot of medium sized dust in here, to be sure. I'm not seeing a lot of ultra-fine dust. A lot of medium dust. You know, that's going to be really hard to separate. I'll just put that there, and we'll say a little over 6 grams of fibrous material. This video is already getting long enough. Okay, so we're going to say this is, well, obviously there's some fiber still in there. I can't separate all that well. We're going to say the rest is mostly not fibrous. I use that term loosely. There we go. So we have a score of a little over 8 grams extracted. And let me look back in my spreadsheet for my Bissells and see if we have something else that did the same thing. So I looked a little deeper in my database, and I did find a Bissell that was pretty much an exact match for this. The problem is it was a 3537 of Thomas's. I don't have that here right now. You'd have to go back and look at those particular videos. But it scored an 8.28 for 1,100 square feet, and this one was 8.18. Pretty much an exact match. So the only other Bissell I have that is closest to it would be the Turbo. So that one did 8.35 grams for 1,000 square feet. It did a little bit better, but that's the best Bissell that I have currently. And then I was looking even closer, and I found another bagless machine. And if you go and reduce the 8.18 grams by 10%, you get it from 1,100 square feet down to 1,000 square feet, then the CleanView does 7.44 grams for 1,000 square feet. I have a bagless machine. It was very expensive. And for its whole house cleaning, extracted, did 7.47. So pretty much almost dead on match. And do you want to guess what it is? Yep, that ought to make some people mad. A Dyson DC65 for 1,000 square feet did 7.47, and when I go and do the proper reduction ratio for the CleanView, I get 7.44. So a difference of 0.03 grams, which we all know is completely insignificant, but I think that's pretty amazing. So here are 3 bagless machines, wildly varying ages, and they get very similar performance. The top performer ends up being the 2008 Turbo, and then the 2 machines on the right, vastly different technologies and vastly different price points, and they're just about the same on my carpet. That should just blow your mind. Okay, so thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.